So the essence of what we're trying to accomplish here in our practice of Thai massage is to, one, be selfish, take care of yourself, do things that feel comfortable for you, and also to create a safe space for our partner to receive. So whether it's therapeutic flying, whether it's acrobatics, whether it's Thai massage or partner yoga, anything that we're doing with a partner, we're asking for an invitation. All we're doing is placing our hands on them in a way that hopefully makes them feel safe. And if that happens, then a lot of other things are possible. Healing happens when the body feels safe. And so if we look at it from another perspective, the nervous system has a certain capacity to switch on and off and engage in different ways. So when we engage the nervous system in a way that it feels safe, it facilitates healing because the body heals itself. It just puts the body in a place of rest where the body regenerates itself. And we refer to that as the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the engagement of the nervous system in a way that allows it to rejuvenate itself. And the principles that I'll refer to are really how to touch. So we use the techniques to practice how to touch. And so the first principle that we'll talk about is a natural fit, finding a natural fit between our body and our friend's body. And we do that in a couple of ways. We do it by spreading our hands when we use our hands, spreading our hands, and creating a fullness in our touch. So we want to create as much contact as possible. So I'll start here at the soles of the feet, and I wrap my hands around, and I try to find the natural fit. And with that fullness, when the body feels a lot of contact, it relaxes. It's kind of like a mother holding her baby. She wraps her arms around the baby, and the baby feels held. And then the baby laughs and giggles and falls asleep and drools. So here, when we have that fullness of touch and that natural fit, then we find a nest. We actually nest our hand into the spot and apply body weight. And that's it. And that's all we're going to do. We're just going to find different ways to place our hands on the body where we look for that fullness of touch. We look for the natural fit of our body parts and how they fit to our friends. And we create a rhythm by applying our body weight and moving with our breath. So right now, all I'm doing is palming the soles of the feet using the heel of my hand and wrapping my fingers around so I have more contact. And then each time I place my hand, I'm consciously opening the surface of my hand so that I create a lot of contact. Okay? As we move up the leg, I continue to use the palm of my hand, more the outer edge, because I'm walking along the shin bone, the inner shin bone. And the other important element, once we have those foundational principles of touch in place, is that we're using intelligent body mechanics. So if I wanted to add more body weight, what would I do with my legs? Could come on the toes. I could also, take the knees further back. Yep. And so even if I came into downward facing dog, a lot more body weight, I can feel the difference. I can feel how I can apply more power. So here, this position is really comfortable for me, half kneeling. And again, I'm just walking along the inner shins, massaging the calf muscle. And then when we move past the knee, we don't press on the knee joint. We just say hello to it. So I'm touching with finger pads on either side, making little circles. And then I'll keep my fingertips face out. And once again, use the whole surface of my palm to make that nest, find the fit, and I feel where to go. So you'll feel as you move through different parts of the body here on the quads. The quad muscles refers to 4 muscle groups. They'll move around under your hand. So if something's wiggling, it's okay. It's natural. You just find where it settles in, and then you pour your body weight there. I'm just going to check in. How is the pressure? More? Less? Yeah? Just right?
Yeah.
Okay. As we come to the top of the thigh, we're going to be using the top of the thigh as our foundational landmark for flying. So feeling the top of the thigh here, feeling the landscape, noticing the round part of the thigh where the quad meets the hip bone here close to the hip crease. This is where our feet will be for forward flying. So it's nice for you to feel that, feel the quality of the muscle tissue there. And it's like I'm like a big cat, just walking around. Big cat, palming, massaging. So we'll work up and down the thighs. I can already feel that her breath has changed. It's gotten a little bit deeper. And what do you notice about my body position in terms of my upper body? How would you describe my arms? Straight. And how would you describe my back? Straight. So arms straight, back straight. Ideally, we keep that for most of the massage. Okay. Most common corrections I'll give when I'm assisting is just arms straight, back straight. And then from here, I love the technique of rocking because it also helps to relax the body. So we'll just rock along the outsides of the legs like so. And you can see in this half kneeling position, it's quite comfortable for me to move back and forth. So from there, we're going to do a little massage with our feet. And I'm going to demonstrate here by starting with a little bit of traction. So the way that I hold the foot, I also use the same idea of creating that fullness in my touch. So I want to place my hands in a way where I feel there's a natural fit here. And I'm going to just squeeze the ankle bone before I lean back. And what that does is it squeezes the skin to the muscle to the bone, and that I'm really pulling on the bone more so than the superficial tissue. So if I were to pull on the skin, if you can imagine like this layer of clothing, if I was just pulling like that, what it does is it pulls on the muscle tissue at the surface and it creates tension. And once we've created tension, we can't go any further. I might get here and I feel tension. So if I go any further, it's like stretching a rubber band that's overstretched. So what we want to do is actually squeeze the skin to the muscle, to the bone. So I'm firmly squeezing and then leaning back, and I see the movement go all the way to her head. So we use traction a lot in therapeutic flying. So it's good for us to be aware of how we touch the whole body, how we reach the bones through the way that we touch. So from here, like we did in our walking meditation, I'm up on one leg. I use my heel on the floor to create stability, and then I use the ball of my foot to walk just inside the shin, just like where we were palming. So I feel the shin bone, and I'm aiming right underneath the shin bone on the inside line of the tibia. And then we'll continue up. I'll give you more time when we're being guided through. I bend the knee into half happy baby here. For most people, it's more comfortable. And you can see my arm is straight. I'm relaxed. And I do the same thing here, heel on the ground. And I just lean my body weight into the front leg. So as I bend this knee, more weight shifts forward. As I release, I shift weight to the back leg. How would you describe my upper body in this position? Straight, upright, ideally, rather than like this, more here, okay? And so you want to be mindful of the sexual organs here, and also notice whether you feel tension under your foot. So you want to apply the right amount of pressure so it feels good for your receiver, therapeutic for them. Then once we get up towards the top of the thigh, we're actually going to place our foot like we would in forward flying. So here I'm going to use the arch of my foot just beneath the hip bone, which is right here. Just beneath, you can see, I kind of line up the big toe mound with the hip bone, the top part of it. And then the arch of my foot fits perfectly to the top of her thigh. And then when I have that fit, I make my nest by gently feeling for the relaxed skin. So I want to make sure the skin's not pulled in one direction or another. It's nice and relaxed. And then I just sink in by putting more weight into this leg. And I can actually lean my weight into that leg. And I'll start to feel the pulse. So you have quite a big artery running through this part of the leg that's called the femoral artery. The other thing that I like to bring attention to is the connectivity through the hips, this leg, and this leg. So if this knee were further forward, I can feel I'm stretching. And so what I want to do is relax the body. So I'm bringing this leg into a position so that it's not pulling on the opposite side. So usually towards me, towards the midline. But here she's relaxed. So we're pretty happy and I can really lean my weight in. This is a blood stop, which means that we're temporarily stopping the flow of blood down into the leg. It's a nice way to flush the joints especially and promote better circulation. So great technique also for the back because it kind of floods blood around the back, and then when it pulls, it also helps to promote circulation through the pelvis. Doing okay there? Mm-hmm. Yeah. When we're in the flow of giving and receiving, I'll ask the receivers to help adjust the foot so that it's in the right place. Sometimes we need a little bit of input from our friends. As I release, I'll straighten the leg and just give a little bit of a twist. So again, full touch here. A firm yet gentle squeeze, and then I lean back and take her whole body with me. Generally, if there is skin tension, or what we refer to as skin burn, then what I'll feel is that the leg engages, that they're trying to protect. So they engage their muscles because they feel that sensation like the rubber band is getting overstretched. So if their leg is relaxed, I know we're in good shape. Okay? Then I would repeat on the second side. I'm not actually going to repeat it, so you'll be quite lopsided. But if I was doing the second side here, traction and a twist, then from there, I'll lift both feet up and come kneeling just outside the hip. In this position, I'm getting comfortable in what we refer to as the archer position. So let's all do this together just right now. You're going to come to kneeling with your toes tucked under and just step 1 foot forward. Yep. And you can see her knees kind of rest in my hip crease. That's it. And that'll keep you alert and attentive for the demonstration. I'm going to take a hold of the wrists. You can switch sides if you want to. Feel what it's like on the other leg. I just relax the shoulders here. And then one hand at a time, I'm going to adjust her shoulders. So I take my palm underneath the shoulder blade. I just let it rest there. The reason that I do this is to create space so I can get my hand underneath. And then I release the hand. The opposite hand just rests on top. So this is a magic nest right here that we use for flying as well. I let that hand rest there, and I simply release by pulling my left hand out. And what that does is it sets her shoulder onto her back so that when I apply body weight, it feels good, feels nourishing for her. Okay? So gentle body weight here, and again, we want to avoid pulling the skin. So I make my nest, I find the natural fit, I draw the skin towards me, and I sink perpendicular straight down. Like that. We'll do the same thing on the other side. One hand, very natural grip here, create space, come underneath, and make the nest. And then this hand is just supportive. You see, even with my fingers, I look for the natural fit, how everything fits together. And then when you have that, you can use both hands and be the big cat once again. Lovely feeling, really good work, especially because the muscles on the front body help to release the muscles in the back and the neck and shoulders. So this is really good therapy for the neck and shoulders because you will release the big muscle groups in the front, which have this effect of rolling the shoulders forward. When you do that, it helps to release the neck muscles. So then with our hands here on either shoulder, what we'll do is we'll prepare for our flying practice later. You'll inhale as you lean back, and then exhale as you pour weight forward into both hands. And you can see that my shoulders are right over my hands, not further forward, so that I am in integrity in my own body. And we'll just brush down the arms. It's always nice to just squeeze the forearms here and lean from side to side. I actually wrap my fingers underneath the forearm. Yeah, like that. Very sweet. Okay, so do we remember everything? One last thing.
Is it over?
Yeah, almost. Oh. One last thing. When we lift up, we want to bring the knees forward. That's where her body supports the weight of her legs. And then once I'm standing, I extend the legs. And when you are flying on someone and you come down, it's really good to internally rotate the feet of the base because we're often basing in this position and supporting weight. So here, I just rotate the feet. As I do, I relax the hip flexors. And then I'll turn the feet in, step 1 foot forward. I bring my hips in front and use them to touch the tops of the feet, and I lean back. And the traction is slow. I lean forward once again, and I'll repeat that 3 times. When we finish, I encourage you to place your hands on the soles of the feet, and the way that you began is the way that you end. Really simple, really easeful.